Welcome to the Slushy Film YouTube channel and the Slushy Film podcast. This is episode 15 of the podcast, which is over on Spotify, but this is episode 1 of the Slushy Film YouTube channel. I'm Nick. I'm here every week talking about all things movies and TV shows, and I have a very special episode for the first episode on the YouTube channel. I'm going to go over quickly what I'm watching, what I have watched, talk a little bit about that, and then I'm going to do my most anticipated movies for the year of 2026. And I got to tell you, it is a loaded list. So let's jump right on into it.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Again, welcome. Thank you so much for either tuning in via video or listening on Spotify to the Slushy Film podcast, now video podcast, here on Spotify and YouTube. Like I said, I am Nick. I try to do this every single week. Life kind of gets in the way, and it sometimes doesn't happen like that. But most of the time, I try to get an episode out to you guys every single week. We are on episode 15 of the podcast, which is crazy. And, I got to say, I recorded a full podcast episode 15 of my most anticipated films, a couple days ago, and I realized I never hit record on the video. So I did like a 30-minute episode, and I went to check for the video, and it wasn't even there. So I would have just uploaded that audio to Spotify and make that the 15th episode, but then also realized that half of that episode I talked about the YouTube channel, and I talked about how when I go over my most anticipated, that movies are going to pop up on the screen. The posters will pop up on the screen right here when I mention them. And so that would have been really weird to just listen to the podcast and then realize that there's no YouTube channel video. So, but we're back. It's recording. I've checked it and it says it's recording and the audio is recording. So hopefully that means we are all set in stone. I have my script next to me as well. I write a script for every single episode that I do. So I obviously know what I'm talking about. So thank you very much for listening and for tuning in. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe, please like, and please comment. Even share the YouTube channel with whoever you think would be interested. If you're listening on Spotify, as always, please share with people who have any love, any, care for the film and the television industry. Most of the times I do movies or have more discussions on movies. Sometimes I'll talk about TV shows depending on what I am watching. Since this is the first video, welcome to my what I call man cave. It is a snow day where I live, and so as you can see, I definitely have some interest. I have my soccer scarves over here. Darth Maul Lego is right, so I'm getting used to this over here. Yeah, that's a great Lego set, by the way. Back behind me, that's Ahsoka and Anakin in the Ahsoka show, and then that's Ahsoka right there. She is my favorite Star Wars character. I absolutely love Ahsoka. She's the best. Clone Wars and Rebels, two of my favorite Star Wars shows. This is not a Star Wars episode, but just going to throw that out there right now. You can see Stitch. I mean, we love Stitch. Who doesn't love Lilo and Stitch? So, yeah. It's a packed. Got my hats, got my trophies, fun things like that. But welcome. This man cave will have more things added to it the more I do the YouTube channel. But first episode, so we're just kind of rolling with it right now. We're going to see how this goes, and then we'll go from there. So, but let's jump into what I'm watching, because if you do not already know, if you have not listened to the audio podcast, you know that I was gifted a top 100 IMDb poster, top 100 movies of all time, with a goal of watching those top 100 movies. They do not range based on rating. They range based on year of release. So it starts with the really old films and then the newest film. The newest film that's reached, or I guess gotten into the top 100, is Dune Part 2, which is a great movie, and I would put it in my top 100. So I've been watching some of the films on that. So far, the films I've been watching we watched The Departed for the first time. Matt Damon and Leonardo DiCaprio, Martin Scorsese film. My wife and I watched that. I actually really, really enjoyed that. That was a fantastic movie. We watched Interstellar, Christopher Nolan, Matthew McConaughey, Anne Hathaway. I think that's got to be a top 10 movie of all time for me. If you do not know me, then you now will know that I am in love with Christopher Nolan's work. I think Christopher Nolan and Denis Villeneuve are two of the best directors in the game. I think people would not really argue with me on that one. I love everything Christopher Nolan, especially, has put out, and honestly, Denis Villeneuve is the same way. But obviously, Interstellar is a Nolan film, and that's probably one of my favorite Nolan films. Which maybe that is a hot take. But we watched Interstellar, and that was fantastic as well. So, watched The Wolf of Wall Street, not on the top 100 list, but my wife had not seen it, so we watched that because that's also DiCaprio and Scorsese. That's a fun film, easy film to watch. A lot goes on though. If you have not seen The Wolf of Wall Street, it's 3 hours of pure chaos. Um, and then some Oscar related movies because we've hit that time of year where the Oscars have been completely announced, all the nominations. So we set a goal each year to watch the 10 Best Picture nominees. We have seen 5 of the 10 so far. And the one we just finished watching was F1 with Brad Pitt. Definitely not a movie that's going to win Best Picture, but it is the movie that got essentially the blockbuster spot each year. Each year the Academy puts a movie that just does really well in the box office and really well in theaters into this. I think going into the year, people were under the impression that it would either be Wicked for Good or it would be Avatar: The Way, Avatar: Fire and Ash. I always want to say Avatar: The Way of Water, but neither of those movies have done great, or just aren't, you know, as good. And so somebody had to somebody had to make that spot, and so F1 did, and that was a movie I saw randomly in the summer, and I left the theater, and I absolutely loved it. Do I think it's a Best Picture movie? Probably not, but I thought the film was fantastic, and I was a big component, and a big fan of this movie and one that would vouch for this movie. So to see it get nominated makes me very, very happy. Even though I know it won't win, I am so happy that it's there. It's directed by the same guy that did Top Gun Maverick. So if you've seen Top Gun Maverick, then you should definitely go watch F1. Very similar vibes, especially when it comes to camera work, sound, um, visual storytelling. Like, this is very much just like Top Gun Maverick. It's just with F1 race cars. So um, that was a lot of fun. My wife liked it, but she was like, "Is that really a Best Picture nominee?" And I was like, "I mean, I guess that's fair, but I enjoy it still." I did watch The Smashing Machine. That's on HBO Max. That's with The Rock and Emily Blunt. It was nominated for some random thing at the Oscars. I honestly don't even know what it was nominated for. People were saying that The Rock got snubbed in the Best Actor category, which is just absolutely loaded this year. So I was like, okay, I'll watch it, and I didn't like the movie. It was directed by Benny Safdie, part of the Safdie brothers. Obviously, Josh Safdie, his brother, directed Marty Supreme, is up for Best Director at the Oscars for Marty Supreme. Marty Supreme's up for Best Picture. Chalamet's up for Best Actor. I think it has like 8 or 9 nominations. Marty Supreme does. But The Smashing Machine, not my favorite. I thought The Rock's performance was good. But I just found myself not caring about the story. And in fact, I don't really know if there was much of a story told. Like, it was just this ongoing issue in a relationship between Emily Blunt and The Rock, and then The Rock's fighting MMA career. But like, it was so jumpy and all over the place. Almost didn't even. The only thing that was maybe fascinating was his, like, fascinating is probably not a great word to say right before I'm about to say his drug use, but the whole idea of him, like, doing drugs, I guess, was interesting. But all in all, I didn't think that the movie was very compelling. I don't think there was a ton going on. Um, Definitely shouldn't have been nominated for much else. I know it had like a huge ovation at I think it was the Venice Film Festival is where that movie debuted. Um, but yeah, no. But hey, I watched it, and I'm glad I watched it. Finished Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Brad Pitt, Leonardo DiCaprio, Quentin Tarantino film. The last 30 minutes of that movie is absolutely wild, and I absolutely loved it. Tarantino, I haven't really seen a ton of his work, and I saw Inglourious Basterds for the first time recently, and then I just saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and I've seen Django Unchained as well, which is by him, and I like his work a lot, and so I'm really excited to see other films by Tarantino. And I know Django and Inglourious Basterds are part of the IMDb Top 100 list, so I'll be watching those again very, very soon. I'm only looking up here because my list is just right up. You can't see it, but it's like right here. Um, so that's really cool as well. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was a good film, and then honestly, like, small side characters that are barely in it: Margaret Qualley, Austin Butler, Maya Hawke, Mikey Madsen. I mean, she just won Best Actress last year at the Oscars for her role in Honora, and she's like in the movie for 15 minutes, and she's crazy. But it's Maya Hawke's Stranger Things. Like, she's barely in the movie, but she's in it, and so it's kind of interesting seeing these side characters who are pretty big names have a role in this movie. But DiCaprio is just I think he is so good. Oh, Margot Robbie's in the film too. I think DiCaprio is fantastic. I think Brad Pitt was fantastic. That was their dynamic was awesome. What a great movie. I really enjoyed that a lot. I definitely give it in the nines, probably like a 9.2 or 9.3 out of 10. Five, probably a 5 star. If it's anything over 9, I'd probably give it a 5 star. So I love that movie. That was a lot of fun as well. And then watched another IMDb Top 100 last night. I'd never seen Wall-E, Pixar, Disney, Wall-E. Never saw it. Um, Liked it a lot actually. I found myself really hooked when it comes to storytelling with the robots because they obviously don't speak a ton, and they can't. The whole idea of like the spaceship and then all these like larger people who like don't do anything was interesting. But Wally and Eva, like that was that their relationship, their dynamic, Wally's story, like fell in love with the robot right away. I mean, I'm not saying it's a top three Disney movie I've ever seen in my life, but it was actually really, really good, and I really liked it. So I'm glad that we watched that last night, and we needed a feel good movie um, here at home. So watched Wally. That was not on the script, but I just remembered that. Shifting gears, Mark. If you've listened to the podcast, you know I try to stay about 30 minutes. People got stuff to do. Don't want to listen to like an hour and a half of me talking. I mean, maybe you do, but I also have stuff to do, and I would love to sit here and talk about all this stuff for like 2 hours a day, but I can't. So I'm going to dive into my most anticipated of 2026. So every time I bring up a movie, hopefully I'm good at editing, and it pops up in this range on my screen on your screen. Just the poster over here, so you can see what it is that I am talking about. And if you've never heard of it, all the better to go watch a trailer or to go check out the movie or kind of read about it, figure out what it's going to be about, and all that fun stuff. So, and a little Starbucks. We're not sponsored by Starbucks, by the way. So don't take this down because I put a Starbucks cup in here. Not sponsored by Starbucks. That'd be sweet though, but we're not. So let's dive into these movies. In no particular order, I will say like there's one movie in particular that's definitely my number one on my most anticipated list, but I'm not mentioning it first. I'm just going based on the order in which I wrote these down. But I'll mention it when I get there. What my like most anticipated one is. So first, Project Hail Mary. Project Hail Mary is a movie. It's going to be starring Ryan Gosling. It's about an astronaut that tries to save Earth while he's alone in outer space. It's directed Phil Lord, Christopher Miller. I'm reading the book first, which I just showed you. It's the same author that wrote The Martian. And then obviously Ridley Scott turned The Martian into a film starring Matt Damon, and that is an unbelievably good movie. So Project Hail Mary, the trailers that have come out have made it look really, really good. Essentially, the concept, from what I understand, I'm not very far into the book, is this whole idea that the sun is dying or energy is being pulled away from the sun that is not going towards Earth and it's going towards something else. And so Ryan Gosling's character is going to have to travel to space as an astronaut and figure out essentially why this is happening. So that's all I know. I think the title's creative. Project Hail Mary. Obviously, this is going to be a long shot to save Earth, and this isn't something that in millions of years from now, Earth is going to, die. This is like hundreds of years. So we're talking a much shorter time span than what you probably are thinking, like, oh, millions of years from now, whatever. But no, it's hundreds of years. So they're trying to figure out a solution to save the Earth and keep the sun from dying and the energy being pulled from the sun. So that comes out, I think, in March. So we're really soon. I mean, we're like a month and a half, I think, from its release. So really excited to see that. I'll definitely be seeing that in theaters. I just really hope it does well. Of course, I hope all these movies on my list do well and are good. And I know that's probably unrealistic to say, considering I have like 12 movies on here. So, but Project Hail Mary, super excited for that. And anything Ryan Gosling's in, like I tend to like. So yeah, Project Hail Mary. But I'm reading the book first, so we'll see how the book is. Next three movies are massive films. Probably the three biggest movies coming out this year. We have Dune Part 3, Denis Villeneuve. I mentioned him earlier. He's directing. This is the third movie of the trilogy. This is today's modern Star Wars. This is today's modern Star Wars. The original trilogy of Star Wars, A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and The Last Jedi, if you have not seen those, which you'd be like living under a rock. But if you've not seen those, you should see those. And if you have seen those, the Dune Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3 movies are today's version of the Star Wars movies back then. Dune Part 2 is Empire Strikes Back level good. We're talking as good as it gets good. And so hopefully Part 3, based on Dune Messiah, the book, which is I think the second book, I don't know anything. I don't know what it's about, but I know the cast is absolutely loaded because you have Timothy Chalamet, Rebecca Ferguson, Jason Momoa, Anya Taylor-Joy, Zendaya, Robert Pattinson, Florence Pugh, and Javier Bardem all in this film. That's an unbelievably stacked cast, and there's some others as well. And then this is Villeneuve's last film before he goes over and takes over the James Bond, because he's directing the next James Bond series, or at least the first movie. I assume he's probably doing at least a trilogy. So this is his last movie before that. And honestly, Villeneuve's movies are some of my favorite things ever. Like if you've never seen Arrival, Blade Runner 2049, Enemy, I mean obviously Dune Part 1 and Dune Part 2, and I know good Prisoners, Hugh Jackman. That's unbelievably fantastic film. Maybe one of, if not my favorite. Arrival's probably my favorite by Villeneuve. Dune Part 2 is up there, and then Prisoners is up there as well. And I know I'm probably missing at least one or two movies by Villeneuve, but that's okay because it's coming off the top of my head right now. So that's scheduled for like a December release on the same day as Avengers Doomsday, which is the next movie on my most anticipated list. Avengers Doomsday, the Russo brothers return to direct. They obviously did Infinity War and Endgame. Also, Robert Downey Jr. is back, but he's this time is playing Doctor Doom. They have shown now in their teaser trailers that Chris Evans is coming back as Captain America. Chris Hemsworth is back as Thor, and then we obviously some other characters they've shown as well. We know the X-Men return. James Marsden is back as Cyclops. So this cast is absurdly large. The stories are all over the place with what Marvel's struggled with doing the past couple of years. I'm so beyond worried when it comes to this movie. I think that there's a solid chance it's not great and it's a total hot mess. I really struggle to see how you piece this together in a 2.5 hour film. And if it comes out and it says, oh, this is like an hour and 50 minutes or like even 2 hours and 5 minutes or something like that, I'm going to be like, oh no, like we're not going to have enough time to do what we need to do for this movie. I trust the Russo brothers. Bringing them back, I think you had to because of the success they had with Infinity War and Endgame. But and obviously we have Doomsday, and then we're supposed to have, I think, Secret Wars after that. I don't know, guys. I don't know. Like, it scares me. It's set for the same release day as Dune Part 3. So I'm gonna have to do like a double feature because Doomsday will be definitely spoiled. Something will be spoiled for me online, and I will try very hard not to have anything spoiled. But I know me, and I know that it'll just pop up like first thing on my X timeline will be something about how, oh, so and so's back, or so and so died, or this movie stinks, or this movie's unbelievable. So, and I like obviously forming my own opinions with this kind of stuff as well. So, Doomsday and Dune Part 3 both coming out in December, same day. It doesn't look like either is going to push their movie back. So they're both set to release in theaters on the same day. So hey, I mean, I'll take it, but that's going to be interesting. But Doomsday, definitely nervous for that. My most anticipated number one movie of the year is The Odyssey. Christopher Nolan, I've mentioned him already. He's back. His first movie since Oppenheimer. He's written and he's directed this film starring Matt Damon. It's got Tom Holland. It's got, I think, Robert Pattinson. I think Zendaya, like Anne Hathaway. I mean, it's a loaded cast. Obviously follows the story of Odysseus. If you've never read the book The Odyssey, it's one of my favorite books that I had to read when I was in high school. I love the story of The Odyssey. And based on the one trailer that they released for this movie, which comes out in the summer, the cinematic feeling that this trailer presents gets me very excited. The shots were extraordinary. Nolan is not much of he's not a CGI guy. Like, he does everything real time. If you've seen Tenet, his film, he literally blew up an airplane in a hangar. If you saw, I mean, Oppenheimer, he was, setting a bomb off. So like, this guy is, I mean, they're filming on the ocean, like they're filming on the beach. Like, this is real life. Like, he's just so good at this kind of stuff. And Oppenheimer obviously won like all the awards in the book when it came around to that year's Oscar season. And honestly, like any season, Golden Globe, BAFTA, whatever you want to talk about, like, it won everything. I have no reason to believe that The Odyssey will also not win everything next Oscars. I think that if it's just as good as Oppenheimer, it's going to be this is going to be a fantastic movie. Out of the four things I've mentioned so far, I think four movies, right? I've mentioned so far, I have no reason to believe like this will easily be the best of the four. Unless one of those other three movies like just surprise the crap out of me, The Odyssey will be the best of the four, and frankly, The Odyssey might just be the best movie of the year. And I nobody's even knows, but just based on the trailer alone, like you're not going to have any complaints when it comes to the shot making. You're not going to have any complaints when it comes to the storytelling, and you're not going to have any complaints because it's all real practical effects. It's not CGI'd. So like I just think going into this film, people are going to be like, this is going to be unreal, which expectations are going to be high because of what he did with Oppenheimer. And I think he's going to hit those out of the park. And I have no reason to believe why he wouldn't. So that's by far my number one most anticipated movie of the year. Like Oppenheimer, geez. Like The Odyssey, I think is going to be great. I think it's going to be great. Can you tell I'm excited for The Odyssey? Because I am. Couple animated films. Got to put some animated films in here. I love animated films. The Super Mario Galaxy movie comes out really, really soon. I'm excited for that. I liked the first one. I think when it comes to the box office, Super Mario Galaxy movie will be top 5 performing in the box office for the year. And an animated movie always does really well. Mario brother means, this world of Super Mario is loved worldwide, right? Not just within the United States. I think that this will top 5 is probably not even probably we're probably looking at top 3, and it probably is going to be 1 or 2. I think that as long as the movie's halfway decent, this is going to bring people into the theaters. This is going to be bring people to their seats. People are going to want to see this movie. Kids are going to want to see this movie. Adults are going to want to see this movie. If you grew up in the world where Mario was huge, which it still is, by the way, everybody's going to want to see this movie, and I'm included in that. So I think when it comes to box office, this movie is gonna boom for sure. And then Toy Story 5, also this year. I haven't seen Toy Story 4, but I do know it's the toys versus like electronics. I should probably watch Toy Story 4 before I comment anything on Toy Story 5. I haven't seen anything about this movie outside of what I just said when it's toys versus electronics, but that's also an animated film that's coming out, that's scheduled to come out in the year of 2026. Superhero films. I mentioned Doomsday, Spider-Man Brand New Day this summer. Tom Holland returns, Zendaya returns, Sadie Sink joins the cast. This is the 4th Spider-Man movie for Tom Holland. I believe John Watts is back directing that film as well. Cast is loaded. I don't know a ton about the movie. Again, I try very hard to not go into these movies knowing much of what the story's supposed to be about. But I think that a Spider-Man movie tends to give me a little bit more hope that it'll be good compared to a lot of other Marvel films. So I have no reason to believe this will be bad by any means. And it hasn't been rushed. I mean, we haven't seen a Spider-Man movie since No Way Home, which was years ago, back when like COVID was a thing, I think. So, and that was a really good film. So I think that this will be a good film as well. I really like Tom Holland. He's also in the Odyssey. I think I mentioned that. God, I said Zendaya. Zendaya is going to be in Brand New Day. She's going to be in the Odyssey. She's going to be in. God, I hope she's in the Odyssey. I may be making that up. I'm going to say she is. She's going to be in. Oh my God, Dune Part 3, and she's going to be in another movie I'm about to mention here in a minute. Lord, she's got 4 major films coming out this year. Good for her. That's awesome. Wow. Okay. Anyway, DC's next film, Supergirl, that's coming out soon. I know nothing about Supergirl. I know nothing about the character Supergirl. I'm going in blind. I'm really excited about it. It's not done by James Gunn, but if James Gunn said this is good to go, then I'm on board to go watch it. I love James Gunn's Superman film that came out last year, and I think Supergirl will be very good as well. I love the actress that's portraying Supergirl. Obviously, Crypto's going to be involved as well. I think this will be a great film. This is DC's next big film since Superman, and so I think it's going to be really well done. Sticking with DC's Clayface, a body horror film written by Mike Flanagan. If you don't know who Mike Flanagan is, Mike Flanagan is Mike Flanagan wrote and directed The Haunting of Hill House, The Haunting of Bly Manor, Midnight Mass, and there's another one like the Midnight Club, all Netflix shows. Obviously, The Haunting of Hill House. When it comes to television, it's only a single season. If you were to just do single season of television, it's easily a top 10 single season of television for me that I've ever seen. He did something Usher, House of Usher, maybe the Fall of the House of Usher. That was a great show. That was his most recent one he did on Netflix as well. So he wrote this film. He's not directing this film, but I do know it's a body horror film. I think it comes out later in 2026. It makes sense if it comes out closer to like the September, October range, because that's when we hit spooky season. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that as well. My last three, I mean, I told you guys, I have so many movies. Werewolf, directed by Robert Eggers. He did Nosferatu that came out a couple years ago. Most of the Nosferatu cast is returning to the movie, or to this, or not returning, but they're in this movie Werewolf. Um, I loved Nosferatu. I thought it was a fantastic film. I love Edgar's style, and so I'm really excited to see Werewolf. Obviously, I mean, I could kind of guess on what some of this is going to be about, but I'm trying very hard not to. And I haven't seen much about this. Again, I think this is a movie that'll be later in 2026, especially around the October time of year. Could be wrong. If there's any chance for this to become award season or be noticed for award season, then it'll be important to have it come out later at that time of year. So, but we'll see. So I'm really excited about Werewolf as well. And then two films left. That's it. That's it, guys. I only have two left, and we're almost at a half an hour. I'm on a roll today. Star Wars, Mandalorian, and Grogu. Directed by Jon Favreau, written by Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, who's like one of the goats of Star Wars. I mean, he's like the creator of. Oh my God, guys! He's the creator of Ahsoka. This is really hard to do. He's the creator of Ahsoka, so like I'm here for it. Um, it's the first Star Wars movie in a long time, and this needs to be a good movie because next year, 2027, we're getting Sean Levy's film, Star Wars Starfighter with Ryan Gosling. But this Mandalorian and Grogu film has to be good. It comes out May 22nd. We need a Star Wars film to be good. Kathleen Kennedy is out at Star Wars. She's no longer involved in anything Star Wars related, especially when it comes to the content and the creativity piece, which I think is very important for Star Wars because under her, this has not been good. I mean, let's be honest. The most recent trilogy is not very good. Um, and we haven't seen any films. I mean, Rogue One has probably been the best film we've seen in recent memory, or we've had come out in recent memory. And so we need the Mandalorian and Grogu to be good. Like I love the TV shows and stuff, and like the Mandalorian's good, and like Andor's good, and obviously the older animated stuff before she was involved, I love. Um, the mall show they have coming out this year, I'm excited for. Like the Bad Batch has been good, but like we need like real films to put people in seats. We need Star Wars to be back to what Star Wars is supposed to be. So hopefully the Mandalorian and Grogu can kind of start that trend and that becomes really good. And then next year for 2027, people can get excited for Starfighter and we'll, go to the theaters to watch that as well. The last one, which actually just released a trailer the day I'm recording this, is called The Drama, starring Robert Pattinson and Zendaya, because she's in everything. The whole plot is a happily engaged couple is put to the test when an unexpected turn sends their wedding week essentially up in flames. I think it's this whole idea of like Zendaya's character admits she's done something based on what the trailer that I just watched is, or says, and Robert Pattinson's character, which they're together, is like, I don't know if I can do this, but they don't really tell you like anything else, so you don't actually know what she says. You don't know what the whole reason even is, but it seems super interested. The title, The Drama, makes a lot of sense. I think this is scheduled for a March release, so I will be going to see that for sure. Um, but yeah, anything with Zendaya or Robert Pattinson in it, is a good excuse to go to the movies. So, and we need good like rom-coms and we need good, drama comedy or drama romances, right? Like we don't get that kind of stuff anymore. So hopefully this is really, really good. Critics are so harsh when it comes to the romantic field of even comedies or dramas. Like it's just a very difficult genre to, I feel like, succeed in because I feel like critics are so harsh on this stuff nowadays. So hopefully as this isn't the case and this movie does is great and people love it and people want to go see it. Um, but yeah, I mean, that was a lot of movies, right? I'll read them off one more time for you. Werewolf, The Drama, Clayface, Supergirl, Star Wars, Mandalorian and Grogu, Toy Story 5, Super Mario Galaxy, Spider-Man Brand New Day, The Odyssey, Avengers Doomsday, Dune Part 3, and Project Hail Mary. Loaded 2026. There's movies I didn't put on there that I want to see. Um, because if I put everything I want to see on there, then we'll do a 3-hour podcast episode, and we're not going to do that today. Um, I'm going to Wuthering Heights for Valentine's Day. Jacob Elordi and Margot Robbie. So we'll see. Hopefully that's a good movie. I've been told the book is really good, but obviously I've never seen the film. So I'm looking forward to that. I think I'll be cautiously optimistic. Strong, like, romances like that are not my my cup of tea, but I can appreciate a good film when I see one. So hopefully that is what this is, and I still have a great time. And it's a good story. It's told well, shot well, and I enjoy it. Frankly, right? Because I'm not somebody that sits here and like rates a movie because oh I didn't like how it was shot. Like it's noticeable with some people, and yeah, sometimes I take that stuff into account, but most of the time it's like, did I enjoy it? Did the story make sense? There's nothing drastic. There's nothing huge. No gaping holes that are missing in the story. And if all that hits, then I tend to really like the movie, and so that is what it is. But look, long list of movies coming out in 2026. I don't think any of those are going to be pushed back to 2027, at least as of right now. I am really really excited to watch all of them, and I think they'll be great. So again, like thank you so much like for listening and watching Slushy Film on YouTube. Thank you so much. On Spotify, as always, just the audio version you can find there. And this is our first episode, and so please comment, subscribe, share on both the audio and the video. I just want to get this out there. I want people to be able to listen, engage. If you have any suggestions on movies or shows that I should either watch or talk about, like please leave that stuff in the comments. I'd love to take a look at all that as well. So again, like thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you guys next time.
1, 2,